snap into podcast mode like a pro.
It started 2 or 3 seconds ago.
Well, it's not going to change now. I'm set onto a course, so I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, Nathan.
It's an episode of Wheel Holocaust back in the game.
It is.
Against all the odds.
Against all of the odds.
The outsider bookie favourite, if you go with...
we defied 2016.
Yeah. Dr. Hamhock actually offering £10 bets that we wouldn't do it.
He now owes everybody on the internet £10. That's how the internet works.
Well, I think it's only people who responded and said, I'll take that bet.
Congratulations, Shogun Pumba.
Yeah. Pumba has now won a tenner from Hamhock.
Yeah.
And also,
buy him about half of one of his normal drinks.
And if I was Hamhock, I'd be worried I now owe Pumba the largest man in London a tenner.
Yeah.
Because
that's been proven, scientifically proven.
Yeah. He is.
He's one of the only men you can see from space.
Yeah, he's
him and Shaquille O'Neal.
He's Andre the Giant if Andre the Giant was standing slightly in the distance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Outside like a door of a nightclub.
And when I say giant, I don't mean like huge, great, big, fat man like me. I mean like he is an imposing figure.
Yeah.
So well done, Pumba. You've earned a tenner.
Yeah.
And thank you for having faith in us. Might have just been for monetary gain, but faith in us all the same.
Isn't most faith for monetary gain?
Well, it is if it's Scientology.
Yeah.
Good. Scientology. Saying about monetary gain, I found out there's a thing called My VIP on Xbox.
Right.
And everything you spend on digital content levels you up to a maximum of 5 stars. I have seen this,
but obviously I don't go very far because I don't buy much digital content.
I found out yesterday that I was £19 off of hitting the £1,500 threshold.
It's quite the commitment.
So I'm now going to get, I think, 10% back on every purchase, which is actually quite a good...
When you spend 1,500 quid, that's quite good to know. You go, oh, well now I've spent 1,500 quid.
I had no idea that I was anywhere near that level. And the other day I went to buy some content using PayPal, and it came up with my balance. I thought, but I haven't added anything to my balance. And I'd obviously had a deposit. Yeah. And there was 28 quid in there. It was like, oh, that's right. There was that big sale, and I bought a lot. Yeah. So, then I spent 19 quid and put myself over the limit. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be 5 stars all next year. And it lasts for the full calendar year. Yeah. Like I say, it's only the purchase next year that'll count towards the year after. By that point, I won't care. Yeah. I've got a load of games to play now. Yeah. So, and interestingly...
actually. I've played very little this year. Now I've got a stack of stuff.
I think this is it. I think this is, for both of us, in different ways, it's not been a good year for gaming.
No.
You've had a lot of quite positive moments where you sort of had weddings and shit.
Yeah, ups and downs.
And I've
just not played a lot as a result.
I've had downs and ups, I think, would be a fair way. Yeah. So nearly dying a couple of times.
Yeah.
And
that does interfere with,
It stuff. Does. It's very inconvenient, ill health.
Yeah.
So I've built up a lot, but the last couple of weeks I've been catching up a little bit. It's been nice playing Mafia 3. Which I really liked. Yeah. I always thought Mafia 2, and I'll say this with genuine conviction, it's not even me trying to be funny. I think Mafia 2 is better than Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 combined.
See, I didn't enjoy Grand Theft Auto 4 enough to even bother finishing it. Yeah. I got sick of it, and so as a result, I didn't bother with 5. Yeah. I played a reasonable amount of San Andreas.
Yeah, well, you see, that was when they were still fun. And then 4 came along and Rockstar was trying to be very grown up and mature about things, which is fine if you're Red Dead, because those games are in a mature setting. But the Grand Theft Auto franchise had been built on being a satire, and built on being humorous. I mean, the very original game had you running over tribes of Elvis impersonators, and then to go to this whole thing where you were doing quite a serious thing about an immigrant in New York, which is, I mean, as a film would have been fantastic. It was a game. It borders on tedium.
Yeah.
And then the DLC for it, Ballad of Gay Tony, was better than the entirety of Grand Theft Auto 4 because they went back to what was...
I was supposed to go to the launch party for that DLC. It was for a site I used to write for, which is now defunct, called Xbox Elite.
Right.
And I spoke to Ross, who used to run the site, when the Xbox Elite controller came out. Which is like, I should have just trademarked the name or kept the website.
Yeah, imagine that.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, Ross. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Did he have detachable thumbsticks?
He may have done.
Yeah. Was he the controller of the website?
He was
he was the Xbox Elite controller.
He was, and I was supposed to go to the launch party for the DLC, and my car conked out, so I couldn't go. Gutted.
It's a shame because you might have met Omid Jalili because he was in that in a big way. Yeah, so it's worth doing if you get a chance. If they add it to Games of Gold, definitely go through that. Lost and Damned was all right, but it was still a bit too mangy.
I basically end up getting whatever's on Games of Gold anyway. Yeah. I just was like, that'll do. Thanks.
I'm quite excited for the PlayStation Plus one next month, or in a couple of days. Actually, they've got the Day of the Tentacle remastered, and so Claire's son, who's got the PlayStation 4 in the household, will be made to play that all the way through without a guide. Yeah, bet he doesn't. He can't even manage 5 minutes without a guide. Oh, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing with this hamster. You put it in the icebox. You freeze it for the future, obviously. Oh, I don't know. Stupid. So yeah, it's what is the date today? Let's have a look. It's Friday the 30th of December. Yeah, it's about as close to the end of the year to do an end of the year show you can do without actually having to do a hootenanny. Yeah, and nobody wants a Weird Holocaust hootenanny.
Well, some people might.
No,
which tends to take away from those.
I don't want to find my nanny working in Hooters.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, granted, it'd be good for people who are only a few inches tall if they want to see a nipple, but.
I mean, we've really underlined what 2016 is right now because we've got Attack of the Clones on in the background.
Yeah.
And we've got to the scene where Obi-Wan goes to the diner.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of underlines what the fuck was George Lucas doing.
Yeah, I like that seriously. They also gave an alien a moustache to make him relatable.
Yeah. He works in a diner. It's like an old-fashioned American diner.
Yeah. Oh, look, he's got a greasy stained shirt with holes in it.
It's
just like every diner owner ever.
Yeah, stereotypical. And Obi-Wan appears to be drinking Red Bull in a non-branded cup.
Yeah.
I
mean, that looks like one of the limited edition Costa cups you get around Christmas time.
It does.
We should have just done like a 2-hour we're watching Attack of the Clones thing. We talked about this before.
We should do this. In fact, there we go. That's a project we can do next year.
Yeah.
As a little side thing.
In between,
people send us nominations of films.
All right.
And then we'll sit and
for January, go on Twitter, folk. Yeah, the one person who listens, Pumba.
They can email us too.
Well, I'd say do it on Twitter actually.
Yeah,
because every time I say email, we usually get some odd ones. And no, do it on email as well. Yeah, all right. So email or Twitter. And just suggest a film for us to do a running commentary on, and then you can download the podcast. We won't have the sound on the film. Yeah, we might have headphones on, perhaps, so we can hear lines.
Yeah,
but then you'll be able to watch that at home. We'll have some way of syncing it up, and that'll be good.
It's like director's commentary from people who weren't directors of anything ever, other than they direct themselves.
I've directed Traffic.
Yeah.
I've directed. My penis into my partner on occasion. I say directed. I sort of thumbed it in. Yeah. But I can't remember what that was from, but I always remember it being the most despicable but also a most amazing description. Oh, well, my age, it's not so much slamming it in as thumbing it in. Putting a marshmallow off a Hoover pipe.
Oh.
Anyway... so, also, before we get into any further, if you do follow Weird Holocaust on Twitter and you are offended by anything that I write, I don't care. It's a Twitter feed. You have the right to be offended. I have the right to say what I like. You have the right to be offended. You also have the right to not follow. So, there you go. I'm relating, Rob, specifically to the Princess Leia Carrie Fisher fanboy baiting tweet.
That upset some people.
Yeah, upset some. Well, no, I had 3 people who commented on it, most of whom were just saying it's a bit too soon to make jokes about dead people. When actually the joke wasn't about Carrie Fisher at all. It was about obsessive fans who she many, many times said had made her life quite miserable. But, then those obsessive fans so I take that completely the wrong way. Kind of proving my point.
Well, where is that?
So,
that element on it.
That is the internet, folks. You just don't have to like everything.
Yeah.
I did hear Christianity described in a really nice way this week through the medium of Facebook.
Okay.
Somebody had shared a video of that. You know, the black guy who's like the black Brian Cox in America. He's got a moustache.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, him.
Yeah. I had a good interview with him on the radio a couple of weeks ago.
He's
talking about his life and career.
He's
and
a
stuff.
very, very interesting man.
Yeah.
And I think he's better than Brian Cox because he never was in D-Ream. But he suggested, or he described religion as, if you define religion as it's God is proven where science can fail to provide an explanation, then 200 years ago you could say that everything that we didn't now know was proof of God's existence, but now is completely proven to not be proof of God's existence. Therefore, God's existence is a slowly reducing bag of ignorance, which is kind of exactly what it is. I mean, gods and mythology did stem from people looking up at the stars and not understanding what they're seeing. Yeah. So in a way, that's actually very, very accurate. But he did it more as a scathing attack on someone who was basically telling him that celestial beings were literally celestial beings, and he kind of took umbrage to it, which I like.
I seem to recall on that note somebody having a Twitter argument with Professor Brian Cox, stating that the Earth was flat and the Moon was, I think, something like 300 metres away.
I wish it was. I mean, I walk further than that for a drink. I wouldn't be able to jump that high. I'd get a ladder.
I had an argument with Annabelle last night because Emma's dad was up visiting, so they stayed in Annabelle's room, and Belle slept in with us on like a inflatable camp bed.
Okay.
And she said, "I don't want to sleep in that bed. I want to go back in my room." So, you can't. Granddad's visiting. So where am I going to sleep? And I went through various things. It was just like partly winding her up. I'll admit it. It's like we could clear out one of the drawers. You could sleep in the drawer. No, I don't sleep in the drawer. Okay. Well, go in the cupboard? No. In the bathtub? No. It's like you can sleep on the moon. Oh, I can't sleep on the moon. I won't be able to get back for breakfast. Nothing to do with how we got up there.
300 metres away there.
Yeah,
you would be able to.
Yeah.
I'd have put her in the dog cage you've got over there.
Yeah, that's new.
Just say, yeah. Are you getting a dog, Rob?
No, but apparently, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Good's a relative term.
Dogs are good. I have a dog now. Well, I've sort of inherited a dog. Yeah.
Adopted.
Well, I don't know. No, I've been co-opted into a dog's house. Yeah. I think it's the best way to describe it.
So the dog owns you more than you own the dog.
Yeah. Well, the dog was there first. I have to begrudgingly respect that.
Yeah.
You see, it's like if my attitude towards a dog, if every Eastern European worker had the same attitude, then Daily Mail readers would have nothing to be angry about.
It's true. They'd always find something to be angry about.
Yeah. Instead, I know my place. And my place is Alpha. Dog knows its place. It is a dog. And some people treat the dog like a human.
Yeah. It'd work better if you didn't spell it alfalfa, to be fair.
Alfalfa. Alfalfa Mufasa. So, yeah, I trained it. I mean, you met the dog when it was crazy, and it's now a lot better. Because I trained
better as a relative term as well.
Again, well, it's a lurcher. They are, by their very definition, excitable. We had a DNA test done as well, which is quite exciting.
Right. So, who does he think it is?
Well, we had a swab done, and apparently it's directly descended from Edward II. And he's now going to go out, and here's one for the fans of Who Do You Think You Are with Danny Dyer. It's going to go out and buy itself a massive ruff.
Hey.
Yeah, you see, dog-based Who Do You Think You Are humour.
Yeah.
Who do I think I am?
Crossed with Danny Dyer.
That was the best TV of the year.
I miss that one, but I'm tempted to go and dig it out because it does sound like
I think it should be placed on iPlayer permanently. It was basically Danny Dyer going into stately homes, having conversations with ultra-rich aristocrats, and him just going, "Oh, blimey, that's bleeding brilliant. Is that a picture? Is that a picture of me?" And there was a bit where he's showing a picture. They printed off a picture. And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to lay my lips on that." And just kisses the picture. And you could just see the bloke going, "Oh."
I did see the quote. I did somebody used because obviously there's loads of outlets doing their best of 2016.
Yeah.
So The Guardian have done all theirs, best TV programme, and worst as well.
Yeah.
And that episode was in their best TV episodes.
The thing is,
just the quote is like, "I'm going to get myself a great big ruff and just bowl about in a ruff."
90% of Who Do You Think You Are episodes are bullshit.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I had no idea I was related to somebody who had hardship." Oh, of course you didn't. Nobody knows who they're related to 300 years ago.
Yeah.
But you can guarantee at some point you're related to a royal family member, a murderer, somebody who's accused of being a witch, and maybe a pork pie, right?
Or somebody who was some form of immigrant, either via conquering or general immigration.
It's like,
which is my favourite part of people now. I don't want these immigrants here. It's like, your ancestors probably stem part Roman. Yeah. You can probably get back to a little bit of the Norman.
I think you'll find, Mr. Papadopoulos, that you are not originally from Brighton. Yeah. But yeah, so that episode was a complete shot in the arm, and I think they need to change the format and just do East End White Boys.
Yeah.
On Who Do You Think You Are? I nominate Bumper.
People who are a little bit more, generally speaking, lowbrow.
Well, I wouldn't say lowbrow. I would say more...
Lowbrow's probably the wrong term, you're right.
Just decent, normal type people.
Yeah.
Who are less concerned about keeping up... Although you could argue Danny Dyer does keep up a pretense, because sometimes when he's being interviewed, sometimes he does go a little bit posh.
Yeah.
And you do think, obviously, if he was to suddenly speak the Queen's English and say, hello, my name is Daniel Dyer, he wouldn't have a career anymore.
Yeah.
So he has to kind of sometimes just lay it on a bit thick. But yeah, I think there is something very earthy about it. It's why people like Tony Robinson. It's why people like Dick Strawbridge. It's why people like anybody like that, really. Sandy Toksvig as well, because she's quite well off, but she wears jumpers that nobody would buy.
Yeah,
and that's warm. I mean, like QI this year, we lost Stephen Fry, gained Sandy Toksvig, and within 2 episodes, I really didn't care that Stephen Fry wasn't there anymore. Yeah. I think she's a perfect fit for it. And I want Stephen Fry to come on as a guest and see how hosting's really done.
Yeah. She was on the radio. There was something that she was... Oh, it was Have I Got News for You?
1 second. A reminder, this is a video games podcast. Carry on, Rob.
Yeah. Have I Got News for You? It was down to her or Angus Dayton.
Yeah.
And obviously Angus Dayton got the job before he slept with that hooker.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she missed out. It's one of those ones where you go, I wonder what might have been.
Yeah,
I liked Angus Dayton. I like News for You, but you always wonder.
Yeah, Sandy Toksvig did that other show, didn't she? The I don't know if she was the host or whether she was. Was it not just
Didn't
a minute?
She did the rebirth of 15-1.
She did that as well, which wasn't great. But that's because it was 15-1, which is never great in the first place.
I didn't mind it.
It was 15-1 is just the weakest link without sarcasm.
It's the weakest link without Anne Robinson, therefore it's better.
Anything without Anne Robinson's better, including Anne Robinson's kids.
Yeah, well.
And that's not me being cruel. She did write a book where she said that she was very horrible to her children and they don't like her. Yeah, well.
That's
anyway,
why you've got that reputation.
So yeah, going back to the DNA test for the dog, now you've done Watchdog. I watched the dog have a DNA test. And so we had to pin it down and take some swabs out of his neck. And we posted them off to, let me just double check the name of the
police.
Jeremy Kyle. And they found out who the parents were. So obviously a lurcher is already a crossbreed of greyhound and something.
Sure.
Sure. But the weird one that we found out was a dog called a Slowy.
Right.
Which is an African hunting dog.
Okay.
And the colours and the markings are pretty much exactly the same. But also the description is... will quite happily just lay down, then has to run at 200 miles an hour for about 10 minutes, then will lie down, will get really excited, but doesn't know why it's excited, and will chase small things. It's like, that's our dog.
It's basically a large child then.
Basically, yeah. But also, I learnt a new breed of dog, so and it's a proper breed, not like a jackadoodle or cockapoo or...
Jackadoodle?
Oh, I don't like that. Like, if you're going to get a dog.
Yeah.
Right? Don't go out of your way deliberately to try and create a new type of dog by repeatedly breeding with other types of dogs.
Yeah, stop trying to play God and just get a dog.
I mean, one day we're going to have a Great Dane mixed with a pug. And everybody will think they're adorable, but nobody will think about how that happened.
I think they will think about how it happened and they'll go, well, they'll move on with their lives.
One would hope that it would be an artificial insemination.
Yeah.
Or a really confident pug. Going, hey, you, did you know that Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane? I'll give you some Scooby snacks.
Yeah. Put some Marvin Gaye on.
Oh yeah. So I went to play some Barry White then on my phone, but remembered I haven't got it connected to the internet.
Yeah.
I'll drop some in the background if I can be bothered.
Yeah. We have the internet here.
Won't be in. Do you know how many times I've been over here and every time you say, do you want the Wi-Fi code? And I go, no, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Really must get that one day.
Yeah.
So back to games. Because we were talking about getting new games, and I was talking about Mafia.
Yes.
That's how this all started.
It was.
So Mafia 2 on the 360 was the complete polar opposite of GTA 4 in the sense that it was fun but also serious. It was a Martin Scorsese film. If you drove cars, you had 2 time periods between the 50s and 60s. It was great. If you were speeding, you had a proper dial speedometer at the bottom, and if police saw you speeding or running a red light, they would chase you for that.
Yeah,
not necessarily for hitting someone, but just actually for minor infringement of road law. And it was great, and the story worked really well. Then Mafia 3 picks up sort of 60s, 70s era, and you're a massive black guy coming back from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack is absolutely incredible. Hello, Emma. Creeping in with your gin.
Gin. Yeah.
Did you watch The Apprentice when they had to create their own gin? They created a gin with an extra I in the word gin, and then explained that it was pronounced gin. Well, it basically like the Wii logo with an N at the end. So stupid. Anyway, so yeah, Mafia 3 really good, and the soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks ever because it's pretty much 60s and 70s Southern American states music. So you've got a lot of Creedence Clearwater Revival, a lot of Rolling Stones. You've got a lot of Aretha Franklin, Sam and Dave. Sam and Dave. Although I wouldn't mind having a bit of Chaz and Dave in. I also accidentally signed up for Groove Music, Microsoft's streaming music service. It came as part of Forza Horizon 3. You can have a trial. It's a radio station. It is that. But then you can stream any music into any game as a soundtrack. So I could probably add Chaz and Dave to Mafia 3, which would be great. Just having like, rabbit. Yeah. You won't stop talking while interrogating someone.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Or trying to get someone to talk. It's good. I recommend it.
It's in your top 5.
It is in my top 5, which we'll get to shortly. What else is on the running order, Rob? Because I've forgotten.
That's the next bit.
Oh, so this is top 5 of the year?
Yeah. So you basically said what the Mirror Hill has been going on. We've been doing stuff.
Oh, yeah. Dog got a DNA test. You got married.
Does this bit all come under wrapping up 2016? My dog got a DNA test.
Yeah, it's a highlight.
Is that in your top 5? No,
it's not in my top 5. It's not really a game giving a DNA test to a dog.
Yeah.
Same as taking a rectal thermometer reading. It's not really a game. You could make it into a game, but then you end up on a register. Anyway, top 5 of the year.
Top 5 of the year.
Do you want to go first on top 5 of the year, Rob? Because I noticed you've got one game
from this year. Yeah, because I've been playing a lot of old stuff.
I don't think the top 5 of the year has to be top 5 games came out this year.
Literally of the games that came out this year, I think I bought 2.
That's good.
Gears of War 4.
Yeah,
and
that didn't make it into your top 5.
Well, we still haven't completed it yet. We just haven't got around to finishing it. We got stuck on the lift shaft. And then we're like,
that is a brutal level.
So we kind of stopped there, and we haven't got back to finish that off yet.
Yeah.
And Skyrim was there, Skyrim Remastered, which would have been in my top 5 probably anyway. Because
I own this but haven't played it yet. How good does it look? Is it pretty much just Skyrim, or have they made it really fancy?
It's fancier.
Because
It's not. Because obviously they've been doing all the promo stuff on social media, the GIFs and the before and after, and all this stuff. I think I expected more than actually is there. But then when you get actually into playing the game again, you remember how good of a game it was. And it was like, well, I don't really care. I'm just happy to be playing a good game again.
Well, that's it. I mean, I've bought it. I've had lots of arguments with people this year, mostly about the Ezio collection of Assassin's Creed games, when they had that terribly rendered face. When in there, I don't know if you saw.
I remember
horribly cartoony looking face.
Oh no, I'm thinking of a different Assassin's Creed where only the eyes and the mouth are visible.
This is just they'd updated the texture, but they hadn't done a very good job, so it just looked terrible. But everything else looked fine. And my son played it, and he went, "Oh, they've not really updated it that much." It's nearly a 10-year-old game.
Yeah,
and you're running it in almost 4K, and it looks good. That's fine. It doesn't have to look incredible. He's played the Bioshock trilogy as well on the
I've got the
collection.
Bioshock trilogy. I tell a lie. I have got the Bioshock collection.
Yeah, he played through all of those this week. and then got really confused by the ending of Infinite. Because I kept walking through the room, and if at this point you haven't played it, you're not going to spoilers. These aren't really spoilers, but I'd go like, they're not actually brother and sister, and then just walk out of the room again. Or, oh, I wonder what happened to her finger. Just all these things like, oh, who's your dad? And then just walk by, and at the end he's like, oh, I got really confused by the ending. So, well, I did tell you everything about the ending on the way by. He's like, and his major issue was he couldn't understand how Comstock came about. That's one of the least puzzling aspects of that game. But never mind.
Kids don't get politics.
Stupid 15-year-olds.
But yeah, I know I've got the Bioshock collection. I've started to replay the first one.
You enjoying it?
Yeah. Well, I always enjoyed playing Bioshock. I've restarted it 2 or 3 times on the 360. I've got to I'm not far in. I've just killed Steinberg. Okay. Still very early on. He's the first, call it boss, you face.
I talked Harry into killing Little Sisters, so he wouldn't get the good ending.
Cool.
Saying, oh, there's a really hard boss coming up. You're going to need all the Adam you can get. And he harvested some and then got a terrible ending. He was like, oh. Yeah, so he had to watch this one on YouTube. Yeah. I made him into a villain. But I said, a game that's all about lack of free will. Yeah. You kind of fell right into that, really.
Atlas, calm down.
I should have just gone, would you kindly please kill that little sister? But, yeah, never mind. I was just looking at that. I just saw Tamara Morrison there, who was also in Barbed Wire. Yeah.
Another terrible film.
Wow. That's set in 2017. Yeah. That's the future, next year.
Yeah.
The present will be the future of Barbed Wire. Oh. And I was writing an article on the Lux website about this. And I said, if you think about it, you've got... look at the state of that pear. That's just... None of that fruit's real, is it? Look at it. There's a pine cone.
I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to press it. Emma's just noticed I'm using one of her boxes to prop the laptop on. It's fine. It's not. I'm not crushing any of your work
on it.
It's my work on it. It's fine. We're looking. It's fine. I've been careful, taking precautions. Put Attack of the Clones 2 on so we don't get too excitable.
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones 2. Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Oh, God.
Imagine if there's an Attack of the Clones 2. It's just the story of what was happening when Yoda was off on his own.
The story of what was going through Hayden Christensen's mind throughout this entire film.
Just the clone facility after they've made delivery. Yeah. Just going, well, what now? That's a few years' work done. Yeah. Can you clone me?
Yeah. And then what else can we clone?
Yeah. Can we clone that pear that Hayden Christensen can fly around? Yeah. No, it's not.
Can we make a giant pear for him to fly around in?
So yeah. So your Skyrim you played, Bioshock you played a bit of, Gears of War you played a bit of. Well, Gears of War 4's pretty good.
Yes.
I really like the tone of it.
Yeah.
And I like how they managed to get Marcus back and it not feel weird.
It felt a tiny bit shoehorned, but once you actually get going, it's less so.
My favourite bit in the whole of that game is when you're playing as JD and you chop through the tentacly barrier things, and he goes things like, "Oh, I got it in my mouth." Oh, does that a lot.
He does,
and everything. There's like 5 different versions of that, and then he stops doing it after he's done all 5.
Yeah,
and he's just obviously got used to it by that point. Yeah. And I quite like that as an idea.
Doesn't taste that bad, actually.
Yeah. The only disappointment for me is a level which I think you have got to, where you go to the museum after you've gone up that vernacular railway.
I think we have done this bit.
You go up on like a train, the thing that goes up, and then the other one comes the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've done this bit.
And in there's all sorts of different like kind of relics of the original trilogy. I was genuinely disappointed there wasn't a Coltrane cereal commercial standee for me to play with, because I wanted that. Yeah. But it didn't happen.
No.
I mean, it might be one in there, I just missed it, but I don't think it was. Yeah. You'd have put that somewhere quite prevalent.
Yeah.
Coltrane can't get enough of the whole grain, baby. Woo! Woo! I want that. Speaking of woo, right, last Christmas Eve, not this Christmas Eve, but the year before,
Ric Flair came round.
Well, funny you should say that, right? A guy called Richard came to the Lux as a group of lads on a pub crawl. And they said, "Is this a pub?" And I said, "No, it's a cinema, but we sell alcohol. You're very welcome." And then one of them just kept going after every sentence, "Woo!" really loud. Yeah. And I went, "All right, Rick." And he went, "What?" And I was making a joke, pretending that you were Ric Flair. Yeah. And his mate goes, "He's called Richard." And I was like, "Oh." So anyway, they left. This year they came back.
Right.
he walked in and you went, pointed straight at me. I didn't work very well on audio.
No.
Pointed straight at me and just went, woo! I was like, fuck's sake. Yeah. Happy Christmas. That's how I know it's Christmas.
As a Macho Man Randy Savage, he got it completely wrong. It's just, I was trying to impress you.
He'd shaved his head and just banged 2 Coke cans together. Yeah. And he was stone cold, woo, Austin.
Austin.
Yeah. So, Gears 4, I think... I wish I'd had more time for the multiplayer at the moment, because I bought...
We need to play Horde at some point.
Season passes on there and everything. I've just not really touched it. Yeah. So I say it's not been a good year for games, but next year will be. You got a new TV, so you can play it out of the way. Yes,
I've bought several other games as well in the last, or either received at Christmas or bought in the last week.
Yeah, I've given you the gift that keeps on giving as well.
EA Access, thank you very much.
That's now both of us have EA Access. So if you want to play anything on EA Access, so we've both got it.
5 games plus everything on EA Access.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I've downloaded Battlefront.
You got Peggle 2.
Oh,
that's a little bit like Peggle 2. It's good.
I picked up Lego Marvel superheroes as well.
Did you buy it or did you just pick it up?
I bought it. It's about £5-6.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some of the stuff they do. There's always a good Lego game in a sale.
I've got Firewatch as well. Firewatch is on your list, and there's also
Firewatch.
A lot of.
Oh my word! I was playing this today as well. Going through it for the second time. It's astonishingly good. My second playthrough, I did something slightly different. I didn't even contemplate doing the first time. So, I mean, again, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but your first day on the job, somebody lets off some fireworks in the forest, and you have to go and tell them basically to pack it in. Yeah. And it's 2 drunk teenagers who are skinny dipping and listening to loud music like teenagers do. And you can look at their stereo, and then you can interact with it. So you can pick it up and look at it. And I noticed the second time when I picked it up, they went, "Hey, you be careful with that." So I threw it in the lake and it blew up. And then they shouted at me and got really annoyed with me. Yeah. And I had to ring into my supervisor and explain myself. Yeah. And I just thought, it's brilliant. It didn't occur to me the first time because I was being so, I'm going to do a really good job at this. And then after I knew what was going to happen, I was like, enjoy myself a little bit. Throw a stereo. I'll be honest, I was trying to throw it far enough to see if I could electrocute them, but it didn't work out.
It was batch operated, so it's mildly annoyed.
But yeah, Firewatch is... I'm very interested to see what you make of it.
Yeah.
It's visually gorgeous as well. It's just...
Yeah, I would say it's made a lot of...
do you know what? I'm really pleased it's made Game of the Year list as well, because very often these sort of games don't. Or when they do, they're really pretentious indie games.
Yeah.
Where people... Like, Gone Home's a really good game, but it's not the game of the year. Like walking around opening drawers and finding out a narrative. But those people are like, oh, I love indie games. Oh, Gone Home's the best thing ever. You know, you can have an indie game that's not just something that's an hour long. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it being an hour long if that's the length of it. And games like Firewatch, I think we're now seeing a new step up from people who've now got the money coming in to make a game that warrants the time and effort. But the other bit of advice I'll give you for Firewatch is have as many conversations as you can on your radio.
Yeah, I've seen those sort
of because you get little background information between you and your sort of handler as such, but also it reveals a narrative. It's like collecting audio recordings and things, so it's a lot of fun. Also, hilariously, all the safety deposit boxes in the forest are all got padlocks on with the code 1234 on them.
Beautiful.
Which
is that a Spaceballs reference?
It's I don't think it was. I think it was just a nice little reference where they're going, you know what, whatever code we put on there, someone's going to find out what the guide is. And let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Put it online, and
then people don't go online to try and work out what. If they find it earlier than they should, then they're not going to go online and try and find it and ruin it. Because there's nothing in there that makes you feel like that. Look, it's Spider-Man Boba Fett there.
Django.
Well, yeah, he's still Spider-Man Boba Fett there.
Django unheaded.
Django relieved of duty. Oh, little Boba Fett. Somebody should see this fight with sound effects from Mortal Kombat on it.
KO. Tekken.
Yeah.
Suggested Tekken.
Tekken would be good. But frankly, with this scene there, taking the piss.
Well, I mean, look at that. What's that all about? It's just uses rope around his hands.
It's stupid.
Anyway, what else is on your top 5 of the year?
I'm now looking at the list because I've got it here. So my list, I had Firewatch,
yes.
which obviously we talked about. Then Abzu,
yep.
which is a sort of diving simulator, but not a diving simulator.
Right. So it's a bit like FIFA.
Jurgen Klinsmann. Was he famous for diving? Klinsmann?
Yeah, he also had the diving celebration.
That might be where. See,
it's a bit of football.
My football knowledge is limited. I just know Klinsmann and dive are associated in my files. Listen, don't you knock my system, all right? That's how it works. I've got a mind palace. I say a mind palace. It's a bouncy castle, because I'm bouncy. I live in a castle.
Yeah.
I like it when I've got a live crowd.
Yeah.
You know, a joke's hit if you can make everyone laugh. Yeah. I'm not going to take the gin out of the equation. Just going to go, that's nothing to do with it. So, yeah, you're not a diver in the sense of like Endless Ocean on the Wii. You're basically a person who is diving into the seas.
Right.
And it seems that something's gone on, maybe involving aliens. Fish have been disappearing. And then you start bringing them back. It's part relaxation. It feels sometimes a bit like Res, if you ever played that, the Dreamcast game that came back.
Res HD?
Yeah. It's kind of, it feels.
I don't think I'd ever describe that as relaxing, just because it was a torrent of colour. It was a lot of fun, but it's just a relentless torrent of colour.
It's that if instead of being attacked by vector graphics, you were swimming with dolphins and turtles.
Okay.
It's just an astonishingly good looking game. It takes about 3 hours to go through, and I loved it, and I loved every minute of it. Yeah. And I showed my partner it because every time she walks in, it seems to be when I execute somebody on a game. Yeah. So you get a little execution animation. And she's like, oh, what game's that? And I'll say Mafia 3, and she goes, right, not letting Alex play that.
I accidentally killed my companion on Skyrim. She was stood right behind whoever we were fighting. So obviously I slayed this enemy, and then because I double tapped the strike, and then went to cut to the execution. But no, I don't want to do that. No,
that's great. I was playing The Walking Dead Michonne today. Yeah, because I've noticed that my gamer score is almost 200,000. I was 1,200 points off. Yep. So I thought, well, I'll play a Telltale game. That'll help me get 1,000.
Yeah. I played Wolf Among Us this year.
Yeah,
very much enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's one of their best. Walking Dead Michonne actually was very good because it didn't outstay its welcome. It only had 3 episodes. But there was a bit in it where I decided I was going to tell the truth in this whole segment. And when my...
Is this in a game or just on this podcast?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
Or not, obviously. And I'd just spoken truth, and then my kind of companion in it was going to be interrogated. And he said, what shall I do? And I went to say, make sure you tell the truth. Hit the wrong button and said, don't tell him anything, Pete. Yeah. So, for God's sake.
Tell him your name, Pike.
I've just worked through 20 minutes of being really careful to only speak the truth in case they know something that will make me out to be a liar. And then I just go, oh, yeah, don't tell him anything. No, stupid.
They just kill Pete and let you go there.
No.
Here's the truthful one, kill him.
There's a couple of moments in it where I was genuinely stunned. You find out a bit more about Michonne's backstory as well, which is quite interesting if you're into Walking Dead at all.
We haven't watched Walking Dead since about halfway through season 2 when we gave up. We got bored, didn't we?
Yeah, the TV show's not that great anymore.
Put in the face now, which sort of backs up my point.
Yeah. It's one of those things that became so popular that they then tried to just fan the fame of being popular, as opposed to being something like Westworld, which is just fucking brilliant and doesn't need to jump through hoops and say, oh, we've got a really cool character and he's got an eye patch. Yeah. No, we've got a really good mystery, and half time you have no idea what's going on, but you also feel like you might find out at some point.
Or you think you might know what's going on, or something similar.
Oh, that was great. I mean, it's one of those shows you can't really talk about spoiling it for people, other than just saying, watch Westworld as soon as possible.
Maybe we should do that as well as another side project. What? We won't bother with the main podcast. We'll just have a bunch of side projects next year.
Just watch all of Westworld and just do an narration. Go, oh look, there's your Brenner in the background.
Yeah. So we'll do our own commentary for films people want us to do commentary for, and then we'll talk about just spoiler casts.
We could do like those people, like those shit podcasts where they have Patreon accounts. I say shit podcasts; they're massively popular because they can justify having Patreon. But where they go like, oh, if you support us on Patreon, you can get our weekly audio commentary. Yeah, we could have done that. Like donate on PayPal and you'll get an audio commentary for free.
We can just do it.
No.
Because we like people.
Don't want to just do it. We only do these once a year. We can't go giving away content for free.
Yeah, you only do an end of year show once a year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, we did another one about a month ago, didn't we?
A little bit longer than that. But it wasn't the end of year show.
It wasn't. It was I've been really ill show.
It was. End of life show.
End of life show. And then I spent 2 weeks trying not to die.
Yeah.
And then my dad went and trumped me on it. Bastard. Like he always does.
Yeah.
Can't just let me have something without trying to be better at it than me.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got an internationally renowned podcast, have you? No. Oh, well, neither have I.
There was one thing that made me smile this week.
Well, my dad getting cancer.
No, in relation
Unbelievable, Rob.
Carrie Fisher passing away.
Right.
So obviously she was well known for slightly black humour and melancholy humour.
Yeah, she used to steal all of Eddie Murphy's jokes.
And somebody said it's, in the sort of darkest possible way, it's the most Carrie Fisher joke that even in death she was upstaged by her mother.
Yeah. I liked that she also said she wanted to be her obituary thing to be related to George Lucas, and you don't have underwear in space because you expand in space, therefore you'd be strangled by your bra.
Covered in stardust and strangleable my own brow. So that was it.
I kind of wish somebody had changed their Wikipedia page to that be the cause of death. That would have been great. But yeah, it's an odd one. But yeah, so that was Abzu.
Far Cry Primal was the next one you had listed.
Frankly, was absolutely fabulous. Far Cry Primal, Far Cry Pork Prop, seated in a large pork pie. Far Cry the Caveman years. I've always really liked the later Far Cry games. I didn't like Far Cry 2; it's too difficult. I didn't want to have malaria. I don't know why we would choose to play a game where you have malaria. Yeah. It's like saying AIDS simulator. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
That would be weird, though.
Or have a character where you have to get a smartphone app to give yourself a insulin injection every now and then. Or a beekeeping game where you have an anaphylactic shock. You have to constantly give yourself shots of adrenaline to keep playing the game. So I didn't like that. But 3 and 4 were great. And Primal had kind of a lot on its shoulders because it was taking away vehicles and high velocity weaponry and
honey badgers,
speech because it's all subtitled.
Yeah.
And replacing it with loincloths, spears, and mammoths. By God, is it a good game? Because what it's done is it's stripped it down to the fact that these games are all about survival and violence, and
exploration.
There is no more justified period in history for survival and violence than caveman times. Yeah. So hunting mammoth was incredible, and I fought a saber-toothed tiger and it killed me 3 times in a row. Yeah. And I felt the balancing was perfect because it probably would have done. Frankly, I'm not a caveman. If I was, I wouldn't be hunting those. I'd be a vegan. Yeah, I'd be the world's first caveman vegan. I hate vegans, but frankly, I've seen how dangerous the wildlife can be.
Yeah, you feel a lot differently about the situation there.
Yeah. I don't like vegans. They're funny odd people, aren't they?
Why?
Well, I have no problem with people having a view, and it's when they come out of it. Like, I met a Jewish person the other day who immediately got my heckles up by making a point of she won't watch. This is how she worded it. I told her about Hacksaw Ridge, which is Mel Gibson's latest. She went, "Oh no, I wouldn't watch Mel Gibson film because you see, I'm Jewish," and I just thought, "Fuck off."
I can understand her point.
I can understand your point, yeah, but don't do that bit where you're like going, "But I'm Jewish." Like, no, you could just.
They can't see you putting your hand on your chest when you say this.
Doesn't matter. It was the emphasis in the voice they can get. But it's like, it's perfectly reasonable for somebody who's not Jewish to also be entirely put off by his comments. And then I got chatting to her and she was actually really, really nice lady.
Yeah.
But she just kept going on about the fact she was Jewish. It was almost like speaking to a vegan. I didn't want to tell her what model podcast was called. She'd have gone mental.
No.
With a what? Holocaust. Well, I don't think that's funny. Because I'm all about semantics. That was going to be an anti-Semitism joke, but it didn't really work.
Yeah, right. Can't that Jeremy Corbyn.
It's all semantics, you see. Now it's back into the joke. Very carefully put together there. That's right, folks. This is a video game podcast. Right, so Far Cry Primal is great. I haven't finished it yet, but it's because I'm really enjoying it. It's not as big as some of the others, but yeah, I picked it up for £12. I think I got the Apex edition for 14, and you can buy it in most shops for about 12-15 quid, which is no money for a game. Mafia 3, which I've talked about, absolutely cracking. And then Quantum Break.
I mean, this seemed to kind of come and go really quickly. It did. There was a big build-up, and then it was launched, and a few people played it.
Because it was going to be a launch title for the Xbox One, and it had that really great trailer with the facility where time froze and they pulled them out of the explosion. And then they got all excited because they said, oh, look,
the guy we've
got Iceman and that Hobbit from off of Lord of the Rings and Lost. He's in it.
I thought
Pippin Merry, one of those. I think was in it. The one who was in Lost. Well, so Sean Ashmore from Iceman from X-Men.
I'm thinking of someone. He was Peter Baelish in Game of Thrones.
Aidan Gillen.
That's it.
He's in it as well.
He is in it. I didn't imagine that. The important thing is I didn't imagine.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, he's your former university mate and now antagonist.
Yeah.
Sean Ashmore, Iceman from X-Men, is you. And then Dominic Monaghan, I think his name is, who's Merry in Lord of the Rings. So Merry or Pippin,
but now I know who you mean from Lost and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So Charlie in Lost, really.
Yep. So
they're your three main problems. Then you've got the big black guy who's in lots of things.
Okay, Michael Clark Duncan.
No. Lots slighter. If you saw a picture of him, you know immediately who he is. Okay. But he's always like a bit part. He was in the X-Files and all sorts. But
everybody was in the X-Files.
So because that was all a bit excited, then they said they were going to do a TV series as well, and people were all very excited. And then it came out, and everything was exactly as they promised, and nobody was excited anymore. It was really weird. The TV series is entirely based on decisions you make in the game.
Yes, yeah.
So the way it works is, rather than it be like Defiance was, where they showed that on TV, and they just took data from the gameplay and then changed slightly. At the end of, say, a chapter of the game, you'd have to make a decision. And then that decision would affect how the TV show turns out. And the TV show would then lead into the next episode of the game. So the TV show was the antagonist point of view, and the rest was protagonist. The time controls were fantastic. The story was fantastic. I couldn't fault it, really, on any level. And yet it disappeared without a trace, but also hasn't re-emerged as a budget title. It's the weirdest thing. Like if I was Microsoft, that's the game I'd have given away as Game of Gold at Christmas.
Yeah.
Just to go, you know what, this is a really good game. People who get in the console for the first time, it will show it off really well.
Yeah.
You've got all this content.
A lot of fun.
Enjoy it. And instead, it's sort of just floating around in the atmosphere. And I only got it because Harry wanted to spend some birthday money, and I saw it there, and I thought, I could persuade him to buy the game, and then I don't have to buy the game. And then I played it through, and I think I sat and just played it solid in 3 days. Like, absolutely ploughed hours into it. Loved it. Yeah. It's of the 5 games I've played, I mean, Firewatch is there as an indie game, but that is the AAA game I'd review. I'd recommend to anybody. I just find it mind-boggling that it's not.
It's not been a great year for AAA games.
It's not, and everybody seems to be ragging on them. Like, you look at No Man's Sky, that got more press than good games that came out.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like Gears of War 4 disappeared really quickly as well.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
You know, anything that comes out and does well, just go, I don't need to talk about that anymore. Move on to the next thing. What can we hate now? 2016 has really made people into bitter, cynical bastards.
It has been true. And then, but other things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily call AAA have done well, but like Overwatch.
Yeah.
Which I haven't got into. It doesn't appeal to me necessarily because it's the sort of the online multiplayer, which isn't normally something I go for.
And you can't now impose your latent sexuality onto a character because she's gay. So, boo.
That's only a problem in Russia.
Well, it's a problem apparently, according to lost people on the internet a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
where they were like, this is an outrage. I didn't buy a game with a gay character on the front cover. I don't want to play it anymore.
About the stupidity of this. The quick blog post. It just doesn't make sense because it's the same argument people had with Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Where you could have a homosexual relationship with Mass Effect, and they didn't like that. They didn't mind the fact you could bang a blue alien.
Yeah.
It's what? It doesn't make any sense.
That's because everybody fancies a Smurfette. That's just Bioware knew that.
It didn't.
They just put it. Oh, it makes me laugh when they're like, it's like when they did Dumbledore. J.K. Rowling came out and just went, yeah, Dumbledore was gay. Yeah. And loads of people are like, oh, I'm never letting my children read those books again. Why? It's like, oh, if you're the sort of person who's worried about that, your children don't read books. Yeah. Your children just get left upstairs plugged into a console, or you just sit downstairs drinking fucking rosé and pretending you still got a life when actually you're rapidly hitting 40 and you're in a dead-end job and your husband's left you and you're a fucking pitiful excuse for a human being. Or something along those lines, perhaps.
Cool. Biggest disappointment of the year?
Well, for me, the aforementioned No Man's Sky criticism. No Man's Sky came from a team that originally had like 8 people. Sony got a giant bike pump and blew it up and blew it up and blew it up and put it at every trade show and put it on their main stage alongside Metal Gear Solid and Resident Evil and went, look, this is coming exclusively to PlayStation. And people were like, oh. And the people seem to misunderstand the difference between, here's a game that's about resource gathering and exploration. And when they got a game that was about resource gathering and exploration, they said, well, this is a bit boring. It's just resource gathering and exploration. Yeah. And then a couple of people said, well, this is not really like the game we saw in the trailers. And then you just think, but that's always the case. Sometimes the games get better. Sometimes the games don't. It doesn't matter. If the game's all right, that's that. But with this one, they were like, whoa. Sony had a retail price of like 48 quid for it, which is stupid. If it had been a £16 game, nobody would have cared. Yeah. I mean, like Claire's son, I think I've talked about in a podcast before, he bought it. And when she messaged me to say, what, because he bought that, Fallout 3 and Star Wars Battlefront all at the same time. And I said, there's no point getting like Fallout 3 and No Man's Sky because they're both huge time sinks and one's clearly going to be more engaging. He said, oh no, he's really excited about No Man's Sky. And I was like, yeah, but he doesn't know anything about it. A lot of people who bought that game had no idea what it was. They just saw it was number 1 in the chart. It had a high price tag and it had the word Sky on it, so they thought it might come with a free movie package. Yeah. And
there's no men in it. I was like, what? What's this? Shooting aliens.
And and now, I mean, they've started to patch the game. They've added features in that they wanted to add in. They were on a very tight deadline that then got pushed back, and then they had all legal challenges. I mean, it had such a troubled development, really, for a game that's being pulled. They also they were one of the studios affected the Boxing Day floods. Their entire studio was almost destroyed. They lost most of the work and managed to recover some of it. So you got all these things have happened to a homegrown British game, and then for everybody to just go, I want my money back. I'm going to trading standards. This is ridiculous. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'll tell you what, mate. Why don't you go and buy your next version of FIFA? Yeah, because obviously what you want is no innovation at all. You want everything to be like everything else you like, and when it's not like everything else you like, you complain that it's not like everything else you like. People have got the right to complain about if they feel genuinely that they were misled. Like if the game makers came out and said you will be able to do this and you will be able to do that in launch, then fine. If they say you're going to be able to do this and they're still developing the game and they're updating it and building it. I mean, look at Minecraft. Yeah. The version of Minecraft at the first launch compared to where we are now. Nobody was saying, oh, well, we didn't have narwhals early on.
Elder Scrolls Online as well.
Yeah, it's the way these games get developed nowadays, and just because it was artificially pushed to be a AAA game that never was, it ended up in the attention of people who then felt a little bit more morally outraged than they would have done. And like I said, if it had been a 12 quid digital only game, nobody would have cared. Yeah. They'd have gone, it's not for me, it's only 12 quid. But because they paid 48, suddenly they were like, hang on a second. What's going on here? It's not much of a game for 48 quid. I mean, granted, there's about 30 billion black planets I can visit. Yeah. But that's not much of a game, is it? Oh yeah, sorry about that. Sorry that the procedurally generated creatures didn't procedurally generate the way you specifically wanted them to generate. It's kind of the opposite of what procedural generation is. And so they're going, I never got the monsters that were in the trailer. Good. Then the procedural generation is working.
Working fine.
If everybody got the same thing, that's not procedural generation. Pricks. So, yeah. Just,
This is a sense of entitlement thing that we keep seeing cropping up. We had it in Mass Effect 3 as well. I don't know about the ending.
Happens with everything. People are stupid idiots who shouldn't be entitled to an opinion, but are. I mean, look at Brexit. I voted to leave, right? Genuinely having thought about it and doing it from a standpoint of belief.
Yeah.
And now I'm lumped in with a load of ignorant racists who never voted for anything other than X Factor.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Get what you deserve. Leaver.
Well, I think there should have been 3 questions on that thing.
Can you spell your own name?
First one should have been, who is the current Prime Minister? Second one, who is the current Prime Minister of Germany? Or First Minister? Then it should be, do you want to remain or leave the EU? Right? If they fail the top 2, they're obviously not informed enough to make the third decision.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're difficult answers. Stupid, uninformed, unwashed
what it
masses.
should have been is, why do you want to leave the EU? And if you say European laws and you have to name one that you don't like.
I don't know if you saw Charlie Brooker's 2016 one yesterday. They did a little bit about obviously the referendum, because of course they did. And what's the matter with you? You're laughing at? Is it little lights flashing?
I was laughing about me using the floor tiles as weight to help the microphone stand up.
I like that Emma's laughing at the fact that this podcast is pretty much held together by borrowed materials.
Yeah.
This microphone is only held together by my G-string, so it's all fine.
Yeah. This was only held together with my sense of self-satisfaction, which is why it's sort of limp and slightly onto one side.
Yeah, so Barry Shitpeas, he said, well, I got really confused because we were told we're going to have an in-out referendum, and instead it was leave remain. And I said, well, I want it to leave it as it is. But I also I didn't know what to do. I want to remain in the EU. I didn't know which one to pick. But Charlie Brooker's always great. It's a very difficult year to do a satirical comedy show on, but he nails it. Absolutely nails it. So No Man's Sky, like I said, some people came at it from the right angle to criticise, but the majority of it was just people criticising it for the sake of criticising it. It should all just fuck off.
I've started to draw comparisons between Anakin Skywalker and Donald Trump during the No Man's Sky thing. Because, the point where he slays all of the Sand people, the women and children as well, should have been the point where somebody went, we need to kind of stop this. This is the moment when Trump mocked the disabled reporter. That should be where it ended, but people were like, we'll vote for him.
For the people watching at home, this is the scene where he's just grabbed Padme by the pussy as well. Frankly, everybody should have seen it come in at that point.
And it's just like he's just like killed an entire tribe, including the children.
It's okay. When you're the chosen one, you can do what you like.
Yeah,
grab by the pussy.
It's the point where I'm going to be the greatest Dark Lord there's going to be. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to build a wall around the small moon, and we're going to call it the Death Star. It's going to be great. I'm going to be the best Dark Lord ever.
And
I haven't got one really small hand.
The Ewoks are going to pay for it.
Yeah, all right. Ewoks are going to pay for it. And we're also going to put Obi-Wan in jail for leaving his emails on a server in a similar situation to that which his predecessor had.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah. My friend Emperor Palpatine is a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with this.
What Palpatine did in Russia, it's all good. It's all good. I love that sassy jumper. Have you watched any of those? Peter Serafinowicz' YouTube videos of him? He basically takes Donald Trump's...
Actual
speeches. And then
I've heard about them. I haven't watched them.
Absolutely brilliant. He does basically that voice.
Yeah.
Good guy. What a surprise. Oh, what a beautiful little baby. Does that a lot as well. But yeah, speaking of Anakin Skywalker, we were talking about Rogue One at work, and someone said, was the prophecy true? Because obviously there's that whole thing, you were supposed to be the chosen one. You're supposed to be balanced to the Force.
Luke.
Well, I said, if you think about it, at the end, Leia hasn't actually engrossed the Force at that point. He's killed the Emperor, and he's killed Obi-Wan. So that leaves...
So then Return of the Jedi.
So we're talking about Return of the Jedi.
By
the end of Darth Vader's life, there is one Jedi and one Sith. He's provided balance to the Force. It's exactly what he's done.
Who's the one Sith?
Him.
But he's dead.
No, I'm saying at that point
but then he dies and it's unbalanced again.
Well, you say that, but then Knights of Ren and all that. And
I always took it as Luke. Actually, Luke was the one because he had that kind of mean streak in him.
Or maybe having twins. Maybe that did it. Like a Luke and Leia
which was
thing.
the evil twin type thing.
Yeah.
That's what.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't kill the Emperor. Death Star's reactor core did. But, you know.
I think the Fall did. It's one of those situations where the Fall was so great.
I don't know.
Heart attack before he hit
I don't know, because the Emperor, he was pretty hardcore. I think he'd deal with a Fall.
He wasn't in Revenge
He
of the
was
Sith.
fire-
That's the worst lightsaber fight they've ever done. Even Alec Guinness in his 70s, basically standing there just going, stick tap, stick tap, stick tap. With David Prowse was more engaging than the one bloody Ian McDermott.
What you couldn't hear was in the background, he was just going, I am the Force is with me, I am the Force is with me. Knowing it's fine. I love that guy. I love those two Asian fellas in Rogue One. You can say what you like about that being shoehorned in to appease the Chinese market. Two of the best characters there's ever been in Star Wars. They're like Asian R2-D2 and C-3PO. I do love sassy robots when in Rogue One. I like that. He's always very good. Yeah. But I particularly like when Jyn Erso shoots an Imperial droid and then he just comes around the corner and he's like, did you know that wasn't me? Yes. It's very good. Yeah. Rogue One. Yeah. It's something I'll have to talk about in later shows, so I don't want to spoil it for people. Because there are a couple of things that people could have issues with. One particularly glaringly, which I think was the right decision, personally. I think you couldn't have the film without that character. And if you recast that character, it would have been stupid.
Yes.
I just think maybe be a bit more sparing, but a bit more shadow work perhaps, and not quite so shiny. But if you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. If you haven't, then it's fine. Or if you haven't and you've read a load of articles, then you've already spoiled it for yourself. So.
We'll do a spoiler cast on that.
Someone said to me, I can't believe it. At the end, like they didn't blow up the Death Star. Went,
what?
No, they didn't. Because this is a prequel. What did you expect? Like, I don't know. I was really surprised. Did you like it? Oh, so you've not seen it since we put the intermission in?
No.
Here's an interesting story for you. So after the midnight showing, Ollie and I had to choose where to put the intermission. Now, putting an intermission into a film which doesn't have an intermission is quite an art. Because you can do it very wrong, you can do it very right.
Yeah.
And this is the first intermission I've ever done. And it's a Star Wars film, so I really want to get it right. So we put it in after Jyn meets and finds her father. And they go back on the shuttle and they have a bit of an argument. And right before, they go to Mustafar and show the castle. What a point. At that point, you've not seen any of that. Yeah. It's just argument, break, coming from the break, castle. What? So I was very pleased with myself with that one. And then watching it, I was like, there's not a better place to put that. Yeah. It's almost like they've made a film with an intermission point just for us. But yeah, put it in. It's like, bang. Like Angelina Jolie in Hackers. Sneakers. She was in Sneakers. Or was it Hackers? Sneakers was Dan Aykroyd, wasn't it?
Yes.
Hackers was Johnny Lee Miller. Yeah. And Alice in Wonderland was Johnny Depp. Yeah. Okay, right. So we've done my disappointment. What's your disappointment, Rob? Is it not having time to play games? Probably. Or not having time to write anything on the running order? Because, or are you just not disappointed? Are you reasonably all right?
Since I've just not played enough.
It's fine.
So, it's just the way it is. Been doing a lot of other stuff.
So at the moment, you see the running order just says biggest disappointment, Bouncy, the elitist reaction to No Man's Sky, Rob, listener discussion points.
I'm just a disappointment.
Just looks like the listener discussion points that you're disappointed. So what did the discussion people thinks because you put it out on your page?
I did. Welshbeck replied.
Yeah.
He was happy that Wales did so well in the European Championships.
Wales did well in the Football European Championships. Yeah. This is a video game podcast. Yeah. He didn't mention Iceland's clap though, did he?
No.
That's disappeared, like Quantum Break.
It still appears every now and again. People go, let's do this from 6 months ago. No,
but not as much as you did at the time.
No, I think people realise quite quickly. It's like,
So, I like that.
He also mentioned Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is fun. Have you seen Stranger Things?
Nope. I think it's on our to watch list.
It's move it up your watch list quickly because it's very, very.
It's a long watch list already.
Yeah, I would say it's a good January one to watch. Good like early evening, dark evening, bit blustery outside. Perfect time for it. Yeah. One of my favourite TV shows of the year.
Deadpool. You also mentioned Deadpool.
I didn't like Deadpool.
Well, we did. We loved Deadpool.
I watched it. I enjoyed it. It's a terrible film, but it's very funny. Like, if you take the jokes out, you're left with an increasingly average film. But the point of Deadpool is the jokes.
Well, yeah, of course.
If you know what I mean. Like, it's just... People keep saying, this is the best Marvel
take
film.
The science fiction out of Star Wars.
Yeah, well, okay. You say that, right? But here's the point. If you took the World War II setting out of The Great Escape, you've still got a prison escape movie that would be brilliant. Right? So sometimes you can take out the context and still work. What annoys me about Deadpool is when people go, that's the best film, that's the best Marvel film that's ever been made. It's not. It's the best Deadpool film that's ever been made. Certainly better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. But is it better than First Class? No. You know, I watch it, and if you took all the jokes out, it's just not as good a film.
But if you took all the jokes out of Trading Places, it wouldn't be as good.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to watch it then either.
What? Brilliant.
If you took all the songs out of Little Shop of Horrors, would it still be a good film? Yes, it would.
Probably.
Yeah. You still got Steve Martin pulling teeth out of kids.
Yeah.
And getting eaten by a plant.
That wasn't actually. That was just him on set.
Yeah, that was
just like filming.
That was B-roll footage. They just used it. They were like, "What?" The cameras
rolling while he was like.
We showed Little Shop of Horrors at work for Halloween. We showed the director's cut with the original ending reinstated, where all the plants win. And I really enjoyed watching from behind the screen in my little curtain spot that I've made where I can watch the audience watching the film. Yeah. It is. I don't photograph anyone.
Is that why there's that hole in the screen?
No. That's for something completely different. Oh, the power and the glory hole. But no, so I was watching people at the point where Audrey gets eaten. It's obviously in the film, Seymour rescues her. And you could just see people going, wait, what? Am I in a reality where... What?
It's a glitch in the Matrix.
What's going on?
Barbara, it's a glitch in the Matrix.
I don't remember. She didn't get... What? She didn't get eaten. What? And then when Seymour gets eaten as well, they're like... You could just see people going, just like rubbing their heads thinking, I have totally got to stop drinking because I remember this so differently.
Yeah, I haven't seen this film for so long, it's changed the ending.
And then when people came out, I had to explain to some people that was actually a different version of the film that they'd watched. But it made sense to show the original director's version as opposed to the other. And a couple of people were like, oh, thank God, I thought I was having a stroke. So, but yes, it would still be a good film about it. It's my rule with musicals, actually. I'll watch any musical that I'd watch without the songs. So Blues Brothers, I'd watch that without songs. Little Shop of Horrors, I'd watch. Rocky Horror Picture Show. All that kind of thing. I'd watch like a B-movie horror pastiche. I'd watch that without music in it. Alternatively, the Rocky Horror Let's Do the Time Warp Again, I wouldn't watch that with or without the songs. I watched it. It was terrible. Oh, something clicked.
I think it's the time of the light that I've already turned off because it burns your shadow into the floor. Stupid thing.
Is it? Because it's one of those like spotlight-y types. Oh, is that what I did? Oh, right.
High wattage.
Yeah. I was actually on about just the actual lamp itself as opposed to the bulb specifically, but I thought it was. I've been looking at IKEA furniture because I'm now getting middle-aged and middle class. No, I'm becoming middle-aged and middle class. No, what I mean is I'm now spending time actively looking at furnishings online.
It's because you're middle-aged and middle class.
Well, you might just have middle-class leanings in you there somewhere. I think, to be honest, if you look at what you do for a living, it's something that's going to pull you up into the middle classes a little bit.
Make you think about furniture a lot.
Well, like working at the cinema. When I worked at Blockbusters, I didn't need to worry about being middle class. Surrounded by scum of the earth, right? Work at the Lux. Suddenly, I'm dealing with people who are a little bit more refined. And I wear a waistcoat and tie for work. And
you don't have to, you do.
And I have to deal with real things like bloody child safety protection panels and police investigations, and so that's made me grow up quite quick. And then the sensibilities, I'm now becoming quite annoyed with the plebs when they come in. So I'm becoming middle class. I've always been a little bit middle class. I don't like it. I grew up in Stamford, for Christ's sake. Of course I'm middle class.
Well, you did mention a game as well, by the way, on this gaming podcast.
This is a video gaming podcast. I could have just looped that. I could have just recorded that at the beginning and just dropped it in at any point we rambled. What game did he mention? Let me guess. Final Fantasy.
No, that does get a mention though.
Did he mention... He's Welsh, isn't he?
Yeah.
Did he
mention...
That
really has a bearing on when mentioning this game. Well, it might, actually.
No, I don't know. Go on.
Dark Souls 3.
Oh, for Christ's sake. No, we're not talking about Dark Souls.
He knows about Dark Souls. Him and Synaptic Flare, who chimed in with Final Fantasy 15.
Fuck off. Are they trying to annoy me? The 2 games of the year that I just could not give less of a shit about if I tried. Oh, Final Fantasy 15. Oh, are you fed up of walking around shooting monsters in random encounters to boost your thing up? Now we can do it in a world 10 times the size, but you've got a car. Oh, we've given it...
It did seem a little bit like he was just driving a boy band around in a car.
Yeah, give me Forza Horizon 3 if you want me to drive around a random thing, finding things. At least I can then talk to an Australian person and occasionally... in Forza Horizon 3, the Forza Horizon game, you ever played any of them?
I played one of them, I think, on the 360.
Yeah, so you have like these big showy events where you race like aeroplanes or whatever. Yeah. The first race of the entire thing, you've got a transport helicopter with an old Willys Jeep underneath, and you're racing the Jeep, but the Jeep's being carried by the helicopter and dropped near the finish line. You race a train that you have to jump over a couple of times. It's just great. I want that. I don't want to be riding around and then have a mechanic who's got ridiculously overly sexualized clothing. Oh, it's photorealistic. All the games and all the meals in the games were actually cooked by the team who then photographed it and made sure they're as realistic as possible. I don't care about realism with fucking food. Make a good game. Yeah. But people have liked it. I mean, some people said they've dumbed it down. Yeah. The one game this year I didn't get to play, which I really wanted to, was Dead Rising 4.
I haven't heard particularly good things about that.
Most of the negatives have been that they've dumbed it down a bit, made it a bit easier. But in a game where there are tens of thousands of zombies to kill in increasingly imaginative ways, difficulty level is not something I'm really that fussed about. I want to play that game and kill tens of thousands of zombies in increasingly creative ways. And as long as it allows me to do that, I'm fine with that. Yeah. It's the same as people who went, oh, well, they're thinking of getting rid of the toilet save system from the first Dead Rising and having checkpoints. That'll ruin it. Like, no, it won't. It'll just be a different game. Because things can change.
They can.
Also, try to explain the Final Fantasy game series to someone who's never played them. Because Claire, coming up to Christmas, I was a bit worried she'd see all the hype for it and think, oh, I'll get Nathan that for Christmas. He likes games. So I was very clear, do not get me a Final Fantasy game. Yeah. I like fighting fantasy game books, not Final Fantasy games. And she says, oh, have you played any of them? I went, yeah, I played a couple. And she says, oh, which ones? Like Final Fantasy 3? I was like, oh, it doesn't work like that, Claire. I said, although you'd think there's only 15 games, there aren't. Yeah. And I think we looked and there was about 68. It's a fucking joke. It's an absolute fucking joke.
Films as well?
Yeah, I mean, films are okay. I'm fine with that because that's 2 hours of my life and I go away. Don't spend 200 hours wandering around punching things going, oh, look, now I've got slightly spikier hair. Well, hey. What is it with people? No, actually, I'm sorry. I'm being middle class again. It's not to my taste. Doesn't mean people don't enjoy it, but I don't like it when people tell me that I would enjoy it. Like they could suggest that I might enjoy it.
Yeah.
But all I've been hearing is, oh, you'll like this one because it's not in a fantasy setting.
Yeah.
It's got fantasy in the bloody title, mate. Fighting dragons. What are you talking about?
I was going to say, surely...
Just because I'm in a car...
has fantasy elements.
Cadillacs and dinosaurs had a Cadillac in it, but it also had dinosaurs in it.
Or was E3 the video they showed they were basically fighting a giant hand?
Yeah, and the combat looked awful. And it was like, if I want to fight a giant hand, I'll just go and visit pervy Uncle Pete. Well, he's got one giant hand.
Like Donald Trump.
No.
He's got one small hand.
Yeah, it was one of those foam fingers from WWE tour. They got melded onto him in an industrial accent, and he grew some extra fingers. Oh, it's horrible.
They should unfurl all the other ones slowly.
Yeah, he likes rusty spoons. Anybody else get in touch with things to talk about? Or was it just them two? What did Dalek suggest?
He suggested. Well, you've mentioned the No Man's Sky stuff. That was one of the things he brought up. The No Man's Sky debacle, as he called it. Overwatch porn, which apparently was a thing.
Well, and that was also the issue that when they changed trace to sexuality, some people really liked it, some people really didn't. I mean, to me, that surely increases the odds of Overwatch porn being popular.
Well, anyway, the fact that it was even a thing.
I'll just say, I once did research for an article on Holocaust, so we did a couple of safer work smut reviews. We did a Big Bang Theory porn review spoof. And we wrote one for Big Lebowski because the company that made The Big Bang Theory sent me the Big Lebowski porn spoof to review, which I never got around to publishing because it was just so hilarious. But I did look to see if there were video game related ones because obviously it was a video game blog. And there's loads. There's some where people just dress up as characters. They're the ones where they almost use like Gary's mod.
Right.
And they use like source files from games. And then just do new animations with the original source files. There's loads of Batman Arkham stuff out there. Anything that's got Unreal Engine has pretty much got a porn version. They did some horrific ones of the first Tomb Raider reboot game when she sort of, in early days when they said she was sexually assaulted by the guy who, in that sort of way, he pushes her up against the wall.
Yeah.
But they re-edited that to make it into a rape scene. And it's like... People got too much time on their hands. Like, there's obviously a certain element of creativity involved in a person being able to do that. But it's a better use, you know? Like, make a video of Bungle from Rainbow robbing a bank or something, and then getting it wrong. Another bungled robbery. I'm going to enjoy that one later.
You are. You're enjoying it now.
Oh, when I listen to this back, I'll have forgotten I said it.
Yeah, you will.
And I'll be like, bungled robbery.
That's a good one. I've been saving that all year. And the last one that Alec mentioned was the Pokemon Go Phenom.
We haven't talked about Pokemon Go, have we?
It doesn't interest me.
It doesn't interest you.
Emma played it with Annabelle, didn't you?
Yeah, I remember. Well, you did. I saw you go around the bend trying to find a Pidgey, weren't you? I'm still playing it a little bit. Not as much, because I realise that there's not much benefit in playing it hugely. Although, if you go to somewhere like London, wow, you can just have an unlimited stock of Pokeballs and Pokemon, and you have a lot of fun.
It's just not something that interests me personally. I know.
But there's another thing that was huge and then just dropped right off. And Super Mario Jump. Who's talking about that anymore? Run, yeah.
Yeah,
that was like huge. Loads of excitement. Oh, sign up for notifications when it goes live.
Dived off mobile games there. I played the Trail for a little bit, the 22 cans one. Enjoyed it. Really quite liked it.
Yeah.
Just stopped, tapped out, completely stopped playing tapped out.
Yeah, I'm still playing tapped out. I put about 50 quid into tapped out over Christmas.
I don't think I ever put any physical money into it.
Yeah. Well, I have this rule that any game I play for more than 6 months, I have to buy an in-app purchase if there is one.
Right.
Because I think it is somewhat my fault. If I don't pay into a game and then I moan that the game has no new content.
I think EA games have enough money out of me over the years.
They have.
Warrant me playing that one.
But I've had tapped out on there, I think now for 6 years. I'm pretty sure that's how long tapped out's been going. It's like since it first trial launched, I've had it going. So every year I'll try and put some money back in. But they did a promotion over Christmas where if you bought donut packs, you got Jebediah Springfield or the guy who founded Shelbyville. I can't remember his first name. And I quite like that idea, like getting a limited edition character alongside donuts. Then they did, if you buy items, you got donut reimbursed as well.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, and then you got these tickets, and then you could trade the tickets in for previous Christmas items you might not have bought, and just get them for free if you got them.
So the one that annoyed me is I accidentally sold the Devil's Donut stand. This is literally where you click on it and click. This is before, because by default it wasn't set where they go, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Because that's how you ended up with the Raven, wasn't it?
No, I think
because you bought that by mistake.
Oh
didn't you? And then you thought, "Oh well, never mind."
And then you said, "Well, no, if you have to go settings and here, and it's a little bit like, okay, well now I've done it. I'm glad I've done it, but and I just never got that back. I've never really got over it because I'm a bitter little man like that.
Yeah. I mean, now it's got to the point where they've got rid of levels, so you basically level up every day if you play it every day. Yeah. So it's now sort of a high score run of levels, and they've got a Mount Rushmore thing. So every time you get so many levels, you get a new Simpsons character for the mountain range. Right. I mean, they
had Mount Carmore as a special bonus donut item.
I mean, you can tell now they're at the point where they realise it's the end game. They're not bringing new players in. It's just the people who now really like it. So what they're doing is they're trying to make it a bit more value. So I mean, I think over Christmas I got about 50 donuts for free in a month. Yeah, just from different challenges and bits and pieces. So I mean, it's in a way it's kind of paid me back for sticking with it. But I'm now kind of becoming a bit completionist. I kind of want all the characters.
Yeah, I was trying to think what the last themed thing I did was. I think it was Old West Springfield.
Oh yeah.
Oldie-timey.
Yeah.
And I did the casino one. I got through to the end of the casino one. Didn't do a whole lot on the Old West one. It was just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And I was got
I mean,
stop playing.
Like I said, I tend to remain loyal to something for a long time for no real reason, and that's one of those things. But Pokemon Go just sort of has started to improve slightly. But again, after they lost 90% of their user base, it's the way these things work. And was that it? Dr. Hamhock said about £10 bet. That's not really any contribution to the show.
No.
Although I am in the process of still writing the scripted stuff of a 6-episode series, which is going to be... It was interesting because when we started planning it, it was before EGX, and then we sort of had a brief discussion about EGX. So the point of that was both Hock and I have been blogging for over 10 years now, and we've been involved in all sorts of things, and we've sort of gone from blogs to, from forums to blogs to kind of mixed media stuff, mixed media to podcasts, and podcasts onwards. And at the same time, you can start off as a YouTuber and within 6 months be invited to every event in the country and get free games because you're a YouTuber. And technology is now rapidly overtaking old media people. So it was sort of this whole idea of, after 10 years, why are we not absolute top of the game when a 14-year-old kid can do it? And then my health decreased slightly, massively, and then feelings of mortality and finality start creeping in, and then I found myself being a lot more angry about things that I wouldn't normally be so angry about. I'm obviously, as anybody knows, I'm a very angry person, but I'm also quite nice about it. I tend to bottle it up and then just rant about things. But now I'm not even bottling it up anymore. It's just going all out with it. Just like, right, you. Like the last 3 days, I've not slept very well, but when I have slept, Claire has said, she can tell I'm at work and I'm just shouting at colleagues and customers. Why are you even here? If you didn't want to watch the bloody film, why did you come and see it for? It's like my fault you don't like it, you fucking idiot. Just full pelt. She has to wake me up. And she said she tried to wake me up the other day. And I was like, you can get off me and all you idiots. Just fuck off downstairs. So
as I mentioned, Annabelle stayed in our room last couple of nights. 6 a.m. this morning, she just randomly shouted, "I don't want to be your friend anymore." What? I'm like, what?
School days. That's it now.
I sort of half assumed she was awake and shouting at her toys, but no, fast asleep.
Yeah. So I'm angry, and Hock's just about to get married in a couple of months' time. So he is. Yeah, he's getting married in South Africa. Because the thing is, with my real close friends, they invite me to their weddings, and then they have them really far away, prohibitively distant, as if to go.
We've all arranged this.
You're invited, Nathan. He'll never be able to afford to come, but he will feel obliged to get us a present. So he's getting married in South Africa, and I thought actually now the game has shifted a little bit, because obviously now I'm in not a bleaker place, but my life now is not just I'm annoyed that YouTubers are a thing. It's now I'm annoyed that YouTubers are a thing, and I can't now carry some rubbish around without feeling like I'm going to die. Or why are people complaining about a video game when I woke up this morning and found that I was covered in blood again? Oh, great. So that's sort of changed how I'm approaching the writing at the moment, and with Hock getting busier, the plan at the moment, I think... He's
been quite busy with work as well. He works
when we do tend to talk, it usually is, let's do a podcast, and we'll just bat some ideas around. And we had enough footage to release a Christmas episode, but it all got lost on the Mac. So, lesson to be learned there. Back all your data up doubly, because most of my software licenses are now tied to the Mac, which is annoying. So I've shifted them all to it, and now I can't shift them again for a period of time. And so there was a bit where Hock was making a risotto with not enough peas while we discussed things. That was going to be the first teaser episode. Yeah. It's just me and him just going, this is what we've been reduced to. Me Skyping you while you try and make a risotto. Yeah. He had to open a bag of mixed veg and take all the peas out of that to put in it.
Telling me about this.
Yeah. And I lost all of that, which is a crying shame. So
it's a crime. Literally, it was a crime.
So I think the strategy might be that we don't really script it too much. We just have a rough idea of where the story will go, and then we'll pretty much just go as we go. Yeah. But the aim is to have that out before he gets married, or a couple months after, depending on, because as you know, it's quite a busy time.
Back from South Africa.
Yeah, let's go. Well, it's a long walk, as Desmond Tutu. As Nelson Mandela, I was thinking he did the long walk, didn't he? Long walk to freedom. Whereas Hock's doing the long walk to not freedom to cohabitation. That's what he's doing, which is funny, really, considering it's South Africa and they all did the apartheid thing. Yeah. I mean, she's white, so it's all right. So is he. I mean, he's really white. He's about as white as it gets.
It's quite surprising he's going to any part of Africa to get married, because he's going to come back with some sort of salmon.
Well, I suppose, really, going to any part of Africa, being incredibly white middle class, they probably all go, oh, Mr. Hock.
I don't think they do that.
What can I get for you, Mr. Hock?
I don't think that's going to happen at all.
I bet it does. Yeah. I bet they have one of those little chairs made out of palm leaves and bamboo.
He's going to take that. He made that himself. Take that with him.
And he paints two children black to carry him around in it, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to actually create a divisive nature. But he also knows that there are some people in South Africa that would quite like to see that. It's a funny country, South Africa. I've got a couple of South African friends and I love them dearly, but all they ever talk about is how horrible their families are.
There's a couple of South African guys
Yeah.
There are a couple of guys at work are South African.
Christmas presents.
They're always really Irish families, so they get really cross because there's so many bloody Christmas presents. It's so hot all there. That's all she thinks.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair enough. I'd moan about the temperature and having to buy lots of presents. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Look at me.
One of the guys at work pointed out he's South African. He lives near Weymouth now. And he pointed out one of the things you always get in South Africans, they always characterise people by colour as well.
Yeah.
There's this white guy, this black woman.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
He notices it now, having lived here for so long, going back to visit family there.
I mean, we've got a customer. She's just moved here from South Africa, and she is, as some would describe, as the old guard. Like, although apartheid's gone, she kind of wishes it hadn't. And she said to me, South Africa's not such a bad place, not anymore. And I went, oh no. She went, no, the blacks think they've got control back, but they haven't. She said, but it's still better than around here. Around here, I wouldn't even have my purse in my bag because I know I'm going to get stabbed at some point. I was thinking,
blimey,
you come from Johannesburg to Wisbeach and you're worried about crime rates. It's an odd one, but the Kelly who Hock's marrying is lovely, and from everything I've ever seen of her family and stuff, they're all very lovely. Not those sort of South Africans. I'm not saying that is all South Africans. It's just a very odd country. Very odd country. It's kind of like Israel. It's Israel of the Africas.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, in the sense that
it's highly politicised.
Yeah, and divisive. And it has a troubled history that still resonates.
Yeah, that's fair.
But not and that's not me criticising either side, actually. I think it's
just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you...
It's almost a fact, in a sense. It's been fraught history.
We were talking today about how Vladimir Putin seems to be the most reasonable person in a diplomatic argument with the US, where they're going, we're going to chuck out all of your ambassadors. And then everybody went to look at Russia to wait for them to do it, and they just went, no, we'll wait to see what happens. So what? You're Russia. You've brokered peace in Syria. You then had a moderate reaction to an American hostility. What the fuck is going on? And they're citing Donald Trump as a calming influence.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if Donald Trump bought peace between Russia and America permanently. What a weird world that would be.
More that Putin may be the only one playing a long game. Everybody else is just stuck in short-termism.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or he's just thinking, if we can just get Trump into presidency, we can take them all. Because he'll just go with it.
Should we use that as a leaping off point for the last thing on the...
Well, one more thing, right? So I was saying to this person about how if you look at Nelson Mandela now, obviously not now, he's dead, but when he was obviously revered, he was a terrorist. You know, he was actively taking part in terrorist activities for the right reasons, but he was a terrorist. And it's one of those things that sometimes it depends on which side of the wall you're on as to whether the acts are right or wrong.
History is written by the victors.
Absolutely. And I think that kind of sums up a lot of the world's issues, really, in that...
History is written by the victors.
Yeah, like Victor Meldrew and Victor Crumb-type. Yeah. Anyway,
Crumb from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So the last thing on the running order, the year as a whole, and you just seem to have listed every game that came out this year.
Well, this was it. This was just so that we had a reminder of see if there's anything on here that we've played or jumps out. But I'll run through the list really quickly, and then we'll go through because obviously I tell you what, we'll just go through and talk about stuff we haven't mentioned already. So Overwatch, we talked about. Dark Souls 3, nobody cares about. Uncharted 4, another game that came and disappeared.
I don't know about that as much.
I mean, well, there's a really good...
The Uncharted series is the series that makes me want to consider getting like a PlayStation 4. I don't think I ever would.
Like a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 4? Because if you get something that's like a PlayStation 4, you won't be able to play Uncharted 4.
Well, you know what I mean. 4.
Okay. Well, because you didn't say that.
You know
you didn't say it makes me consider getting something like a PlayStation 4.
Africa. You're borderline with Israel right now. That's...
Oh, what's Israel going to do to me? I've already got a podcast called The Holocaust.
Anyway, the Uncharted series. Anyway, it's something that makes me.
Oh, it's I mean, I still haven't played.
The Last of Us.
I haven't played. Yeah, I still haven't played 4. I'm desperate to play it. It is top of my list, alongside Last Guardian and Last of Us 2. But it's another one where it just did well. It got good reviews. People don't really talk about it too much.
A lot of people didn't.
But it's not like in the cultural lexicon as much as Pokemon Go is.
No, but not many games are.
Yeah.
Mario, Sonic still a little bit. Pokemon.
Crash Bandicoot's coming back. Crash Bandicoot's in Uncharted 4.
In the pop cultural lexicon in a big way.
He's in Uncharted 4. There's a scene where they play a PS1 version. He's in the new Skylanders game as well as a character. He's coming back. Yeah. Doom did really well.
It did. I haven't played it.
I'm going
to can pick it up quite cheap these days.
If you're going to pick it up as well, go to Amazon via our affiliate link and choose the Amazon exclusive edition, which gives you the game and the season pass for about 18 quid. And the season pass is about, I think, £27 on its own. So definitely worth doing on that one. My phone's just locked again. Let me just get the... I don't know why I don't go back to
the next one on there, which I bought today.
Battlefield 1, I've also bought.
Yeah.
Haven't played it on mine yet, but played some of the single player. Single player was great. The opening, prologue thing, about as good as they've ever been.
Yeah. I was quite cool on this in terms of interest when it first came out.
Quite cool. I was set in World War One. I was wearing chinos.
But my interest has been raised over the months. So.
Yeah, I would definitely say play the single player campaign through before you even touch multiplayer.
I always do anyway.
Mostly because obviously it's a lot of centenary stuff of World War One, and them coming in and doing a World War One game. They wanted to make sure they pitched it right, and they, as far as I'm concerned, they've nailed it as both respectful and fair. Also, actually, there's something with Mafia 3. The opening of Mafia 3 has a little disclaimer that says this game is set.
Join any games.
This game is set at a turbulent time in the southern states of America in the late 1960s and 1970s. So we were talking about times just before a lot of the big riots started kicking off. And a lot of characters still refer to black people with incredibly derogatory names. So there's a theme park that is essentially the opening of Bioshock Infinite, but based on a real thing that existed. And it says, it would be disrespectful to not use these terms because people had to endure it.
Yeah.
But it's also something we really hated having to use. And I thought that was quite interesting as well, just that whole trying to have historical accuracy to be respectful, but also not to try and glorify it.
To be like, look.
Yeah, because there will be people with the alt-right moves and stuff coming in, going, oh, here's a game that allows me to be deliberately racist. No, it doesn't.
Dishonored 2.
Although, one problem with Mafia 3.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever watch Dexter?
No.
Right. Do you know the meme with the black guy from Dexter goes, surprise, motherfucker?
No.
Right. Well, anyway, there's a guy in it called Detective Dope, and he finds out that Dexter's not just an investigator, and he corners him and he goes, surprise, motherfucker. The amount of times I say that, come around a corner with a shotgun, and then realise I've become a bit of a stereotype. So, be careful. It happens. Right, so where are we? Sorry.
Dishonored 2 is the next one.
Dishonored 2 is on my list to pick up once it drops in price.
Got it for Christmas.
Did you? I loved the first one.
I played it on the 360. So.
Yeah, and I've got the enhanced edition, whatever they call it. Yeah, definitive.
Edition.
I've got that on Xbox One to play before I play 2. But that's something that also died in 2016. The holding of a price for a new release game for more than 5 days. Dishonored 2 was one steep, dropped within a week of sales. Steep dropped from £45 to £22. Dead Rising 4 you could get for £25. Forza Horizon I got for £20. You just think it's not. It's mental, really. That can be the thing. But I've heard very good things about it. I'm excited. I'll be intrigued to see what you make of it when you get around to it. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, or as I've written it, Cardiff.
Cardiff doesn't interest me, to be honest.
I saw it just the main game for £12 the other day, and I did think, but if I'm going to buy it, I want the one with Call of Duty 4 in it.
Yeah, which is about £90 still. Stupid price.
It's come down now. It's about £40 now, but that's still stupid.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, would I pay £30 for a fully remastered and enhanced Call of Duty Modern Warfare? Probably a little bit. But no, not yet.
Titanfall 2?
Titanfall 2. My children...
one, but it's on EA Access, so I will get around to it.
It's worth playing the first one just to get a sense of the world. The second one's got a lot better story mode. My kids have played through the story mode. I haven't had a chance yet. But they both really enjoyed it. Forza Horizon 3, as I mentioned, is...
I'm not really into racing games very much.
Forza games, I tend to play them obsessively for about a week. And then I just pick them up every now and then and just drive around in circles for a little bit. But the Horizon games were nice because they were kind of like Burnout Paradise in the sense they gave you a big world to play around in, and it wasn't so regulated. So that's quite good. And XCOM 2 as well. XCOM was one of my favourite ever games. And I've downloaded XCOM 2 the day it came out on Xbox One. I haven't played it. I haven't had time. But it's there. And I will. One day.
And that was the next one on your list. Final Fantasy, neither of us bothered about. Last Guardian?
Yeah, so Hock played this and then didn't say much about it. Other than that he enjoyed it early on. I'm very keen to play it. I don't hold out huge hopes that it's going to be a world-changing game because I'd have to be stupid to think so. It's been in development for over a decade. Any game that has that ends up being average at best. Duke Nukem Forever. There you go. Could have been that. So, Hitman. Now, Hitman, I've just bought the intro pack, as they call it, because I've been meaning to pick it up for a while. And it was reduced to about £4.80. 3 of my friends have played through the season as it's loaded up and gone, and they cannot fault it on any level. Now, the Hitman games I like, and I really liked Absolution. I love the idea of a season-based game. Just, if you buy it for £8, play a bit. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you do, you can buy more of it. It's episodic gaming, but on a bigger scale, and I can really go for that. Really, I hope more games do it. I think it has been commercially successful for them, so that's exciting. Gears 4 we have touched on. Yep. Deus Ex: Human Revolution. How's that on your radar? Is that something you would?
No, it's not really, but I did pick up the last one via Games with Gold, so it may change after I've played that.
I'll pick it up when it's cheap. I had issues with the last one because I kept getting knocked around and falling off things and getting a bit annoyed with myself for not playing it properly. But that was all my games fault.
Sky we touched on, Pokemon Go we touched on, Telltale Batman.
Yeah, Telltale Batman was all right.
I picked up the first episode for free, so I'll give that a go. And then
the story's very good. I'm hopeful how they're going forward. It's sort of the creation of a lot of villains in this series. So, I mean, it's not really a spoiler to say Catwoman's in it because she's right in there on a lot of the pictures. But there was a couple of good moments in there where I was like, shit, didn't see that coming. And I did play that as they came out as well, which is sometimes that helps, sometimes it hinders. I think if you've got something you genuinely care about. I mean, I know did you play through the Game of Thrones one?
I never actually got to finishing it, the last episode, because I bought the Xbox One.
Okay.
And then about a week later, the last episode came out.
I see.
Bothered to download it. I've still got the 360 sat there on my TV stand.
I got my 360 on the TV stand, and I haven't turned it on. I'm starting to think maybe it's time to put it into storage, because so many of the games I want are now on backwards compatibility. So I don't even need the Xbox to put the disc in.
Yeah.
Because my Xbox 360 is plugged into the HDMI input on the Xbox One, so that's my TV input. So I can just power it on and play it through the Xbox One, and it's all good. But it's a shame. It's a real shame. PlayStation VR.
I'm not bothered by VR at all, to be honest.
When I get a PS4, this will be quite a quick purchase for me. I'm hoping the price will drop by the time I get them. A couple of experiences with PSVR now, and I've enjoyed them all. It's not the best VR headset on the market, but it is the most affordable. And because it being a PlayStation accessory, it's got the potential to get some good licenses. There's a Star Wars one already, which that's enough for me.
Yeah.
But I think there's one as well you can punch a shark in the face. And as anybody knows, particularly Emma over there, I do like something where you can punch a shark in the face.
Watch Dogs 2?
Watch Dogs 2. I really want to play it.
I'm tempted.
It's on offer at the moment. For the season,
me.
yeah, and I'd heard a lot better things about this one than I did with
the
other. It kind of looks like a mix between Watch Dogs and Jet Set Radio, which is only a good thing.
Oh yeah,
but I think once it drops to about 20 quid, I'll jump all over it. Civ 6. Now
I do really want this.
Yeah,
I will get it
because you are a fan of the series, aren't you? I was just started to play Civ 5 on my MacBook before it was stolen.
Yeah.
I was very gutted.
I've got Civ 4 on the Mac. I think it looks quite clunky and dated now.
Yeah, Civ 5 just ran nicely. I didn't have any of the settings on very high, but
at some point I'll probably invest in Civ 6. But I've got plenty to play through at the moment, so I'll leave that for a while yet.
We had Tom Clancy's The Division and Siege as well. I suppose we're going to do Tom Clancy's. I picked up The Division from CD Key's website. It was £8. So I bought it. I haven't touched it, but I've got it.
I didn't bother in the end.
I did think maybe one day I'll get, if there's more people want to play it, I'll buy a couple more copies for £8, then they put the price up.
I get the impression several people who I know who did play it, played it, enjoyed it for a period, weren't over the first of all what the end game offered and moved on.
I think
it's kind of come and gone very quickly.
I'm still a little bit annoyed with it because of what they did when they made us queue up for like 3 hours to play it at Eurogamer. And then after 3 days of attempting, I finally got to play it, and it was an incredibly underwhelming experience. So that doesn't fill me with a lot of hope. The Witness. Just shrugging there. Yeah. It's a funny one, The Witness. It's the creator of... oh, Christ. Jesus, my mind. It's Jonathan Blow.
Good.
He did...
Inside.
It was the game where you could reverse time.
Life is Strange.
No, older on an Xbox 360. It was like a platformer with like a arts. Braid. It's the creator of Braid. It's his new game. Yeah. Time Splitters, did you say? Yeah. Could you rewind time in Time Splitters? Yeah. Time Splitters 2, Future Perfect was great. Yeah. So The Witness is Jonathan Blow's new thing. It's basically a massive island full of puzzles.
Okay.
It's Professor Layton mixed with Myst.
Okay.
And has got some incredible reviews. The only issue I have with it is it's an indie game in all words, but with a £35 price tag. And that's just a little bit too much. Like, I really want to support because I loved Braid, and I really like Jonathan Blow's attitude towards things. He's pretentious as fuck, but he's like Moby. Right. He's the Moby of games journalism, games design. So if that drops below 20 quid, I heartily recommend anybody. I know people have picked it up at full price and felt it's worth it, but it is a lot of money these days when people haven't got it. Inside is from the makers of Limbo. Okay. Creepy as hell, brilliant. Again, if you see it on sale for less than 8 quid, worth it. And same again with Oxenfree. It's a kind of choice-based narrative game, but with some really weird things going on. And then probably the final little indie game there, Super Hot, which is first-person shooter where the game everything moves when you move. So imagine being Quicksilver from X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. If you stop moving, all the bullets freeze in the air,
right.
and you can pull your sword out and you can slice the bullets in half if you time it right, and you can move around the bullets and you can kind of. So that's a lot of fun. Pokemon Sun and Moon came out to not much fanfare because people were excited about Pokemon Go, not so much about paying 30 odd quid for a Pokemon game. But the intriguing thing with Sun and Moon is you got Sun, you had the game was set on a 24-hour clock of daytime, and if you had a Moon, you had a 24-hour clock, but it was reversed by 12 hours. Mm-hmm. So if you played during the day, you were actually playing at night. So the idea was if you were collecting night Pokemon or day Pokemon, if one of you had one game, one you had the other, it'd be a lot easier to do without. So if you work, you can't be up until 3 a.m. Moon was quite a good option to. So I quite liked that. I just wish there was like a talisman you could just turn it.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Quantum Break and Abzu we've mentioned. Street Fighter 5, nobody gives it monkeys. Street Fighter 5. If it had been Tekken, then better. But it's not. I know. There is a new Tekken game coming out, and I think it's got Akuma in it. From Street Fighter. And then Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2, which
you're a big fan of.
I am a very big fan of the franchise anyway, and they've really made an effort to keep this one going with the community. They've got kind of fortnightly challenges and things. A massive, great kind of PV all area where you kind of run in on big rucks, and you got gnomes and giant robot cats, and when you get a chance to play it, it's obviously part of EA Access. I mean, it's the game I say if people are thinking about EA Access, I just think, well, you get that. That's worth it for that alone. Then my Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is Mirror's Edge, but not quite as good as Mirror's Edge. But Plants vs Zombies 2 is a lot of fun. But quite a lot come out this year. But nothing really that sort of stands head and shoulders above anything else.
No.
It's a bit average.
It's been a bit of funny year. A lot of good things.
It's not been a funny year. It's horrible.
I mean, you know what I mean. Anyway.
Charlie Brooker's Scream Wipe opens with that puddle. Do you remember that puddle? Where they ended up streaming it on Facebook. The puddle.
Okay, right.
And he just goes, 2016. Look at that, it's a puddle. This year's going to be all right.
There's a gorilla.
And then it all went wrong.
Yeah.
But that was the highlight of the year, was the puddle. Yeah. What a world we live in when that's the highlight.
Yeah, there we go. Housekeeping.
Yeah. Can't come in, I'm still in my robe.
No, that's what it says on the running order.
Oh, right, so this is a bit where we have to say things like follow us on Twitter, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Don't have to.
Yeah, well, follow us on Twitter. Follow him at Rob McGregor
35.
5. I always get that wrong, don't I?
You do.
And follow me at Bouncy with an H after the second B.
Yeah.
C. It's been a while. I had Jingle Ball as my Twitter name. It's now Janus Ball, which is a reference to
Goldeneye.
No, it's a reference to Roman mythology, but also
Goldeneye.
How they named him in Goldeneye. Yeah. So looking back and looking forwards, which is eerily pathetic.
Yeah.
So if you've got Christmas money in your bank accounts or pockets and you want to spend it, you can do so by subscribing to Loot Crate and using our affiliate link, which helps Rob get money off of his Loot Crates, or free Loot Crate. I don't know how it works. Don't know what it does. But Rob gets something on that. Or you can use our affiliate link, because our main affiliate link option is now gone, because my old workplace has closed. And before I left, I'd put our affiliate link as their order page. So anytime a customer orders anything and they order it from Amazon, we got a kickback from it. But now they've closed, that's going to severely impact the podcast production. That's why we haven't done a podcast for 3 months. Just because people aren't donating. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Not having enough time to do anything.
Literally not enough time on my
Ever
case.
since we changed the channel before Revenge of the Sith comes on.
Oh, what's this? Harry Potter?
And the Death of She hasn't even put it in HD, look. It's not that much of a fan.
Oh, look, it's Reese Ifans.
And then Jaws 2's on after the news.
It's interesting. I was reading a lot about the girl who plays Luna Lovegood. That's what I want to aspire. I want more actresses like her making their own costumes at home. Like the lion head thing. Just making it herself. Yeah. It's a really good bloody hat. Yeah. She's very good.
She also went out in...
Alright, I don't care about the Heat magazine stuff.
She did well there then. Bearing in mind how he ended up. Yeah. Oh, right, yes. Your dog. The one that's going to go in a cage. Is that what it's called? A crate? Okay. Yeah, oh, it says, yeah, it works well. Just, yeah. So is it stuck up arriving soon? So it's soon then.
Yeah.
So, so follow us on Twitter. Visit the website, which you can't get at lolacourse.co.uk at the moment because the website's still broken. Yeah. The link's broken. So you can find us at we'relolacourse.wordpress.com. But if you type Lolacourse and, I don't know, podcast into Google, you'll get to the website anyway. And do consider leaving us a review and helping us bump up the race. I mean, the chart thing doesn't really affect us too much. We don't mind.
No.
We're not all about fortune and glory. We're on about doing good quality video game journalisms and getting free tickets for EGX. Because we're a video game podcast. But no, I was thinking of that. I might buy tickets for Rezzed. And then realise I'd already applied for a press pass. So I'll probably buy some tickets for a friend and go. I might stay down there for all the days because it's also London Games Festival as well at the same time. Something else is going on. Something else is going on I wanted to go see, and I did think, could do that. And they've got Ken Levine.
Yes, I saw that.
Doing a talk on one of the days. So
I'm quite annoyed about that because I've got no holiday left to take at work.
Well, I did think about that.
And it literally is the week before I get.
If you had a broken leg, you wouldn't be able to get to work, would you?
I'd still have to work from home.
Oh, okay. But would your home have to be home? Or could you do it from a press area in London?
London. Who knows?
Yeah, because I'm just thinking maybe you could do that. We could just work around it.
Yeah.
Is she?
Again.
Well, let's make sure none of this is recorded onto any sort of medium that could be used in a court of law.
Yeah.
Podcasts
aren't missable as ever.
Judge Rinder coming on and going, now, you tell me that there's a podcast that actually says that he wasn't ill at all. Well, you say podcast. That's a very loose term. It's supposed to be talking about video games. They keep talking about dogs with somebody who's not mic'd up. But anyway, it's been good, folks. And Rob and Emma. Thank you for inviting me into your lounge.
Yeah.
The
we should have to do it again.
We should do it again. And if you want us to do it again, the best way to do it is interact with us on social medias. And if you do feel that you get value from what we do, it's not a joke. We genuinely are now. We have lost our major revenue stream. And although it was a lovely revenge to have against a business that screwed me over, it did also support purchasing of equipment and bits. So if you do want this to continue and you have the facility to do so, please do feel free to use our PayPal. Yes, Emma?
I implore them to please do that so that you can get a table.
Yeah, we haven't even got a table. We've got a box full of very well made floral bouquets there, which you can find on Facebook at Bell's Bouquets with Beach, because nowadays there's all these knockoff versions out there, and you want the best ones.
I don't really get confused with one in Farnham.
Absolutely, absolutely well looked after. This one's got a MacBook on top with, so nobody's going to get in there and fiddle with it. Yeah. And then we've also got some floor tiles hiding up a mic stand because we haven't got a table to clip it onto. So if you want to support the Lolacourse Get a Table Fund, which I think I've seen a nice one on IKEA we could probably get. Let's start that off. Let's kick it off. Let's be our 2017 target. Get a table. We'll get a little table that can go up in here like a fold-up one and slide under a sofa out of the way. And when we do a podcast, just fold it back up again. So if you want to support that, go to our website, find our PayPal link, and send some funds our way towards the Lolacourse table. It's better than a Shaq Fu shelf that we had. Don't you remember that shelf of Shaq? Yeah. Ended up with 5 items on that. 3 of them are in my loft still. 2 of them have gone missing in the move. But I don't want to start that again. I think a table's a better use of people's money. Anyway, goodbye, folks. Have a happy new year. And if you've had a shit year like some of us have had, then may next year be better. And if it's not better, then know that it's not your fault. It's the other bastards. Unless it was your fault. In which case, grow up.